Okay. Hi everyone. Welcome to Game Week 8. We preview the football talk show. I'm Shane O'Mac, wearing this kit with a little bit of pride.
I'm pointing towards it. I don't know if it's going to come out, but that's Shane O'Mac. He's depressed.
Yeah. I am. I'm very depressed this episode.
Hey, isn't it quite relevant that you're below Leicester and Spurs right now, even in this format?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've still got more trophies in our cabinet than both of you combined, but who's counting?
How many trophies have you got in your own cabinet, though?
I've got one. I think when I was working at Orange, we won a trophy, like a mobile phone trophy. So we've got that one, yeah. But anyway, Game Week 8. It's been a pretty poor season for United. Leicester doing what they've been doing for the last few years, impressing a lot of people. And Tottenham just irritating the hell out of me. But here we go. How's everyone doing?
Yes. First of all, apologies we didn't do a video last week.
Yes.
Due to COVID situation and some people having emergency dental treatment. Hemel had oral last week and he messed him up. But that's another thing. He was given.
Wow. Hemel, anything to add on that oral? Was it positive, negative? What was it?
I'm trying to see how long I can go without talking. I think it lasted like a minute there. It's like the longest I've lasted in my life. And Cogs is going to throw in a joke.
You always say something there, so just not do it. Anyway, let's move on to the preview for the week. So fixtures start from Friday. So today's Thursday. So we've got Friday's fixtures tomorrow. First game, Brighton, Burnley. Hemsy, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, so Brighton gave us a stiff test. Burnley, I'm beginning to think... Huh?
That's what she said.
Yeah, I know. That's your joke.
No one has said he's been given a stiff test.
Not good. Burnley, I'm starting to see improvement in them. I think they're getting organised again. They're getting some players back from injury. It's going to be a tough game for Brighton. They although they've been playing well, like
did you say that you've seen improvements? They just got smashed 3-0 last week.
Yeah, Burnley. I've seen improvements. They're organised. They were tough to break down when we played them. So I think a lot of the players coming back are helping them. I think they'll get a result at Brighton because Brighton are lacking confidence because they're playing well but not getting anything. I think Burnley sneak a draw here, 1-1.
They're lacking confidence, especially when they get cheated out of a result over the weekend. That's what I'm saying. I might as well go. So Burnley, Brighton. What's wrong with your chest?
I'm just stroking my cock.
No one else is going to, mate.
This is some innuendo show today. It just kicked off from the start.
Innuendo bingo. Anyway, Burnley, Brighton. I don't know. I'm feeling sorry for Burnley still. They haven't got a full squad, and it's difficult to play the expansive football or some kind of football that Burnley want to play when you haven't got the personnel. Brighton, I thought they were really unlucky last week. Harry Kane cheating his way to a penalty. Never a penalty in a million years. But, when what Harry Kane does, isn't it? But
he's the man.
Credit where credit's due. He's been on fire this season. But we're not talking about Tottenham anyway. We're talking about Brighton. I just think Brighton, we were talking a couple of weeks ago about how they're one of the best teams not getting the results. But ultimately, defeat after defeat, or even not getting the results is going to be impacting the squad. So ultimately, they're probably are going to be where they deserve to be at the end of the season. But I think that's going to be impacting them now. No wins in a while. It's just always going to impact the team. So I think this week is going to be a tough one for both teams. And I think it'll be even Stevens. So 1-1 from me.
So for me, by the way, I just want to point out 3 correct scores last weekend.
You're on fire. He was on fire.
Yeah, did you get the Man U one, Shane?
Yeah, shut up. Did you get the Tottenham one?
I went 6-1 for the Spurs one.
Oh, can we just confirm that the dares will be done once lockdown's over, so when we're all together. So that's why we're not doing any dares at the moment.
At that rate, you're probably going to end up waxing your butt crack.
Oh, I've got 2 legs to wax right now.
Yeah, so for me, Brighton, Burnley, don't see anything other than a Brighton result. They'll be a little they'll be seething from what happened over the weekend. They didn't deserve that. That's great. They've had great performances. I'm going for a 2-0 win for Brighton. Right. Southampton versus Newcastle. I actually like this game. This is the first time we're going to have a test for Southampton without Danny Ings.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's a massive blow to them, isn't it? Massive blow to them. Losing their main man for the last... He's been on fire for the last 12 months, give or take. What, he's out now for 4 or 5 weeks? The only good thing about it is he's out for 4 or 5 weeks, but he's got the international break, so it's not going to impact them too much. Maybe miss 3 or 4 games if it's not that. Newcastle over the weekend. They deserved winners, weren't they? They deserved winners against Everton. Everton were toothless, and they ran out 2-1 winners. So this is going to be interesting. I think Newcastle now got a little bit of confidence, but it's all about Southampton, how they're going to be looking to adapt with no Danny Ings. And ultimately, I see Newcastle win here now. Unfortunately, I'm going to go for a Newcastle 2-1.
Yeah. Right. I think, Ings is going to be a big miss. Newcastle played very well. One moment. Played very well.
What are you doing?
No, it's just my battery, innit? Newcastle played fantastic the other day. I thought, I can't believe I saw Callum Wilson. It's so frustrating. I listened to someone who said Bamford ain't going to score goals. And I went for Callum Wilson. And yeah, that's what happened.
I wasn't wrong though. Did he score against Leicester? No, he didn't.
True. I think Callum Wilson 1-0 for me.
I'm going to go with the Newcastle win as well. I think Newcastle will be very, very buoyed by the win over Everton. They played well. They're organised. They're a tough nut to crack. They're organised. They're disciplined. I think Newcastle win here 2-0. I think Callum Wilson's back on the trail. Right, probably the game I'm not looking forward to talking about. Everton versus the afternoon kickoff against Manchester United.
I'll go first.
Is that 12:30?
Go on. Hemsy, go on. Start us off.
All right. Yeah, it's 12:30, Gogs. 12:30 kickoff. Right, now.
I just want to clarify, Hemel won't be watching the game. He has my BT Sports logins and I'm at home and I'm going to disconnect him. So,
I want to watch that, so make sure you give it to me, yeah? Thanks.
Yeah, you can have it. Hemsy, you might have to watch it like through someone's window.
Let me go through my take on the match. So, the question is, can Man U stay up? Now, 15th spot, 16th spot borderline. We need to consider Man United as relegation candidates. Harry Maguire at the back. Leicester pulled a fast one. 80 million quid. What a sale that was. Everton, James Rodriguez could be back.
Don't make me kick you off.
I'm going to go with Everton 2-0 victory against Man United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to be leaving the wheel. Heard it here first.
If he leaves, though, you know who's going to take over, don't you?
Mopo.
Your bloody boyfriend, Poch.
Mopo.
Go on, give us the scenario.
I'm going for United 3-1. I just think when the chips are down, United will be United this weekend. Ole seems to, I don't know, get those results when he needs it the most. He seems to perform better when he seems to get the results when they're performing bad. Yes, they've had a couple of bad results. Yesterday's defending was shocking. I don't know what's happening at the back. It's I wouldn't call it even Sunday League defending. I've seen better things than Sunday League.
I can't believe they let a 35-year-old run from the halfway line without a challenge and score. It was ridiculous.
Hey, some 35-year-olds plus can still do that. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
right?
Not without breaking them back.
But don't be ageist, you. But no, I just think all the pressure's on United this week, and I think they'll get a result. I think Everton, I don't know, this may be their sticky patch a little bit. Is Rodriguez even going to play this week? He's still potentially, 50-50 at the moment? And you can see that.
Digne will be back. Richarlison's still suspended, which is a good thing for us.
Yeah.
But James is a 50-50 at the moment.
Yeah, and look how they were devoid of all sorts of ideas last week. They didn't look like the team that started the season. So I think if they can't create in the midfield, they're going to struggle. So I'm going for United 3-1, unfortunately, and then Ole Gunnar to keep his job for at least a couple of weeks, leading to that international break?
For me, these players they're not playing for him. Some of them aren't good enough to even be at the club.
Like who?
Well, for me, Pogba hasn't done anything to justify any type of performance. I think we should let him at some point. We need to look at selling him because he's not showing any. I mean,
Was
in the penalty.
Jose right? Was Jose right?
I am one of the first people to say Mourinho was right about a lot of things United based. Like, he did. I have always said he did exceptionally well to get a second place with the team that's there. You know, he had players like Fellaini.
Did Mourinho say when he finished second that's one of his greatest achievements, right?
Yeah.
And when you look back on it, now, it probably was a really, really great achievement for United at that point because they were still going through that whole restructuring period.
When you look at that team on paper, it should be good enough to challenge for the top four consistently and perform and beat those types of teams. You know, it should be able to give teams like Arsenal, Tottenham proper games. Yet Luke Shaw hasn't been the same left back since he broke his leg all those years ago, and that's a fact. You can actually see he's changed.
Yeah, there's too many Burger Kings and McDonald's as well.
Rashford's not a left winger, and you can see that because he doesn't do the duties of a left winger. Martial isn't really a centre forward. It's hard. He can't hold the ball up. He drives at people. So the way we want to play is we want a striker who can hold the ball up to a certain extent. He can't hold it up for 9. Greenwood's not a right winger, yet he's being asked to play as the right winger, which means he's not tracking back. Which means most of the time fullbacks have got clean runs.
And Bruno Fernandes is in the wrong sport because, you know, he should have a swimming pool near him, not a football pitch.
Well, Bruno Fernandes is still a good player, and most of the penalties he gets are legit. So that's here and there. I do still fancy United to get something in this game. Whether it's enough to keep Solskjaer his job, I don't know. I see a 2-1 win here. But I don't know. I don't know about Solskjaer's future. I mean, the idea of Pochettino doesn't, like, I'm not overly excited. He's not achieved anything.
If it happens, right, yeah, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets the sack and Poch comes in, do you think Poch is going to be the Messiah and all of a sudden transform United into this, you know, contenders?
No, because the problem for Manchester United is a lot bigger than a manager. It's the way the club has been built on a structure that just doesn't make sense. We don't have a director of football, which you could argue Fergie didn't, but Fergie had someone like David Gill working alongside him, who David Gill was the previous generation's Daniel Levy to a certain extent. He got everything that Fergie wanted, and Fergie, his reign was with an iron fist. If you did not like Fergie's way, you left the club. These players Solskjaer's always smiling. He's too friendly with them, and there are players there that shouldn't be at the club. Really shouldn't be at the club. It frustrates me.
I've always said that he's out of his depth. You can't be managing, you know, Mould, whatever the hell it was, going from Mould to United. It's a massive. That's like going out with a bird who's like a 2, then going out with an 8. It's a massive difference.
So my only criticism.
Everyone understands that notion.
My only comeback to that is Solskjaer has done some remarkably good things tactically during his time at United. He's got some results which were very impressive. He's had tactics that have worked. You know, we've had some good victories with him. But
any championship manager can do that, mate. Play a couple of games, mess about with formation, you're going to get some results.
The biggest issue I have with Solskjaer is when we play teams who are disciplined and say to us to try and break them down, we don't break teams down.
United are not capable of breaking a deep block at the moment.
Exactly. We're a counter-attack based team, which does not work against teams who are going to say to us, you dictate terms, and then you try and break us. Anyway, we're digressing. I could go on for this whole show about United and how frustrated I am. Right.
That's why we call the Football Talk Show. We talk about football-related stuff. If it happens to be United, which is going to be at the topic of conversation, then we will have a conversation around it.
This is a neutral football talk show. We talk about all the teams. So we're going to be talking about Palace and Leeds next. That's the next game. Gods, why don't you start us off with this one?
Palace, Leeds, both teams lost on the weekend, ironically against the 2 teams that are facing this weekend, but we'll get onto that. So Wolves gave Palace a bit of a footballing lesson, 2-0 on last Friday, and then obviously Leeds got taught a footballing lesson by us. Palace at home. Shame.
Yeah, Palace are at home.
Palace at home. To be fair, what is home advantage at the moment? Nothing. Home advantage means nothing at the moment. Every game is potentially a neutral venue right now. That's why I think there's so many bizarre results. You know what I mean? We've won all our away games, but we've lost all our home games. So what does that say? But I think this is going to be. I think Leeds will come back fighting this weekend after getting destroyed 4-1. So all you Leeds fans that were giving me shit on Monday saying Leicester were going to lose, in your fucking face. Yeah, face.
No need for the profanity, man.
You guys keep swearing. We've become quite non-controlled on that recently. We'll be putting that to bed on the next episode.
Hold on. This is coming from the guy who's on about this.
I think you need to get
word.
tested for Tourette's.
Fuck off. Yeah, anyway, so Palace Leeds. I'm going for a Palace 2-1 and them to hit the road running again.
Hamzy?
Yeah, 1-0 Zaha, enough said.
God, I'm gonna go 1-0 Bamford.
Ooh.
Leeds. Right. Chelsea, Sheffield United. I'll start this one off since I haven't actually started one off. Chelsea played really well in their last game. They lost Kai Havertz for up to 14 due to COVID confirmed positive case, but they still look pretty strong. Sheffield United have Sheffield United actually got a victory so far season today? I don't think they have still.
They were unlucky last week. Lost 1-0, didn't they?
Yeah, they lost again. You can only see Chelsea winning this one. I'm going for a Chelsea comfortable 3-1.
Go on, Hemel, you can go.
Yeah, I'm going Chelsea 2-0. Werner is starting to look the real deal to me. I think he's gonna tear them apart. I don't think Sheffield United are looking too good this season, looking trouble, and I didn't think they'd go down. I had them for a high finish, but they're in trouble right now. They need to find a result from somewhere. If they can shock Chelsea, well done. I think 2-0.
Yeah, but you said they might, potentially on current form will they go down, but are they as bad as Fulham
Man
and
United.
West Brom? Let's be honest, United don't want to get relegated. They started
Look,
the
we can all.
yeah.
I don't know which I'd rather like Tottenham win the league or Man U get relegated. It's close.
Why didn't you put in a double accumulator on it and see what happens?
Could do. Try it.
Yeah.
We've got away with the Arsenal top on the premise that Spurs were supposed to finish higher than Leicester, remember? Oh no,
yeah.
Leicester 15, so you may as well get ready to wear that
Spurs
Arsenal.
are fine. Spurs are fine. Don't worry about Spurs.
Hey, it's only 7 games into it. Anything can happen.
Hemel, the bet was that if Leicester finish 18th, you Gogs will wear a Tottenham kit, but if they don't, you have to wear an Arsenal kit around Leicester.
Don't
What
forget.
kind of a bet was that?
We've got video proof, mate.
I wasn't saying.
We have video proof.
I have
Anyway.
a doctor's report to suggest I was insane at that point.
You have a doctor's report saying that you're a moron. That's about it.
Right,
For me, I think it's got Chelsea win all over it. On Sheffield United, not. They got that second season syndrome, and I think they've been unlucky as well in some games. But I just see Chelsea here being dominant and scoring, being a bit free flowing. Yeah, you're right. Werner, he's started to hit a bit of form. Got those 2 goals yesterday, and he's scored a couple in the last games. I think Havertz going to be a bit of a loss to them, but obviously they got Mason Mount and the other guys to that. But I've been really impressed with Chilwell, and I said this. Yes, he wasn't the greatest at Leicester due to whatever reasons, but because he's got a new lease of life now at Chelsea, he's started to perform. So I'm really chuffed for him because generally he's a nice guy. He just didn't fit the persona of what we're trying to do at Leicester. So for me, a Chelsea 4-1.
Okay. Next game, Sunday fixtures, West Brom against Mourinho's Tottenham. Gogs, why don't you start us off?
Wow, West Brom look done and dusted already, mate. They look pathetic. They've got a 50-year-old back in Ivanovic. He's lost his legs, and playing against Son, Kane, and potentially Bale. If you're a West Brom fan, you have to worry. You have to worry a lot. Free-flowing Spurs against a West Brom back 4 has goals written on it. I'm going for a 5-0 on this one. And I think West Brom, unfortunately, are going to get hammered. So 5-0 for me.
Hamzy?
Oh, is it me? Yeah. All right, let's go up. I'll show you highlights of the game.
You're the only one that scored
Highlights of the game. Bale. Oh, what a goal! Gareth Bale on his return. You gotta love it. You gotta love it, Gareth Bale, man. He's a god. He's the man. He's come back to save us.
Do you need a tissue?
He has returned. The special one.
Do you need a
Bale
tissue?
and Mourinho. Oh, we're going 3-0. 3-0. I'm not going to go 6-1 this time. It's a bit unoriginal. I'm going 3-0. Kane, Son, and Bale. The fantastic trio.
I'm just going a
Bring
4-0.
at that thing now.
The 4-0 win, Spurs to win comfortably, West Brom to get relegated this season. They're absolutely ridiculous that they signed Ivanovic. There was no sense in that move. Callum Grant is a unproven, not good enough Premierships player. Matias Pereira is being found out. Diagana is being found out. They are poor on paper. They have been
I don't
anyway.
think to be honest, I don't think West Brom have been found out, right? Pre-lockdown, they were firing all cylinders, and when lockdown happened, they lost their form, they lost their mojo, and they've carried that kind of form into the Premier League. Whereas on the other hand, Leeds finished their season on a high and started the Premier League on a high. It makes a massive, yes, they got promoted, don't get me wrong, it's a great achievement from the Championship. But when you finish a season with a bit of negativity or not on a good run, it's difficult to get out that mindset and start in another season doing that again, right? So sometimes it's difficult to go back to, this clean slate. And I think this is what's happened to West Brom. They've had that lockdown, they've come back, and their form was poor, and they've brought that back in. The reason why they brought that back in, because he's dealing with the same players, same squad, and that persona or that confidence within the squad has remained the same. Come January, he needs to make some signings, important signings. He needs. I think he needs another striker, another midfielder, and he needs a defender. He couldn't go wrong if. This is what I would say. If I was West Brom and Reading are not potentially at that point looking to get promoted or challenging, I would put a cheeky bid in for Liam Moore, because I think he could do a great job at West Brom if West Brom are not done and dusted at that point. But that's just my opinion.
Well, I think Reading are top.
Yeah, Reading are doing great at the moment, and Liam Moore, obviously ex-Leicester boy, doing some good stuff there, and he will do a great job in the Premier League. And I think come January, if Reading are on course to be promoted, then they won't have no bids. But you never know what could happen.
Okay, next game, Leicester Wolves. Hemsey, why don't you start us off with that one?
Right, Leicester flying high. Wolves looked better last week, didn't they? So I think it's going to be tricky. Leicester, when you think they're going to win, are just not doing it, and I think this is one of those times. I fancy a Wolves win, to be honest with you. I think they might sneak it 1-0 to the Wolves, in my opinion. I think Wolves will sneak it. Two good teams, though.
On paper, yeah. This is going to be a difficult match. This is going to be a lot more difficult than the Leeds match was. Wolves, Portuguese FC, the second Portuguese team that we're playing this week. If you understand the reference, Braga from Portugal as well. We're playing them tonight. Yeah. Anyway, I think it's going to be a difficult match. For some reason, we're doing the business away. We're looking really, really good away. We look fantastic on Monday. We could have scored 5 or 6 easily. First half. Leeds came back, gave us a couple of scares in 20 minutes, but ultimately we ran out comfortable winners and deserved winners. And the great thing about it was I was on Leeds' Twitter feed. I don't normally do it. I was having a look at it. And I've got to say, they're very humble in defeat, unlike some other fans. They were like, Leicester were like one of the best teams we played. They played some good football. Vardy was on fire on Monday. And that's what football's about appreciating good football and good football teams, right? If my team get beat, like we got beat by West Ham a couple of weeks ago, I didn't come out our excuses. I came out and said the better team won because they played better football, and we got outclassed. So fair play to you, Leeds fans, for that. But for this week, I'm going for I think it's going to be another tough match, so I'm going for a 1-1. And if we go for 1-1 and Liverpool happen to lose, that wouldn't be the worst result in the world, would it?
Yeah, but then we win, we go top.
Yeah, you're not going to win though. West Brom will do the business, but even though I'm backing you.
Right. I've got Leicester to get the result here. I think Leicester will actually win. I've got them to win 2-1. I think that the result over Leeds will give them confidence. Harvey Barnes is starting to show and deliver regular performances which are consistent. He's a very, very good option. He should he in the England squad left winger. He's someone I would take, direct, strong.
He will never
quick.
he would never get a regular position in England for the simple fact he plays for Leicester. End of.
No.
Just like Grealish.
Look-
Grealish will get to the squad.
Hold on. So what I'm saying by a place in the squad doesn't necessarily mean a place in the starting 11, because there are a lot of left-winged options. England have a lot more than they used to. Sterling's left wing, Sancho can play left wing, Rashford can play left wing, even though he probably shouldn't. There are a huge amount of. Grealish technically is a left winger, but a very methodical, slow pace.
He's more of a free flow kind of footballer, isn't he?
Yeah.
Central attacking midfield if you want, but if we play, if he 4-3-3, he's going to play on the left side.
No, Grealish can play as one of the three in the middle.
He wouldn't play.
To be fair, Grealish that kind of player that can play anywhere right now. He's got that quality.
But the point I'm trying to make is there are a lot of options against Harvey Barnes, but I still think Harvey Barnes deserves to be in the squad, and his name needs to be mentioned for that position, because he's good enough, and he's proving that week in and week out at the moment. So yeah, Leicester to win 2-1. Right, game of the week: Manchester City, Liverpool. Hemsy, start us off.
Yeah, cracking game. We're going to see what's what in that game. I think about where the title could be going and how the season's going to pan out. If one of the teams turns up and performs well, could give them the momentum. They're still the two favourites, aren't they? So I think Man City, I've not been impressed by Liverpool. I think Man City are going to turn up for this one. I fancy Morris actually to have a big game. I think
He won't start.
you don't think so? I think he will.
I think Pep doesn't trust him enough. Because Mahrez could be quite predictable, and that's he's predictable. Down the right flank, go on to the left, couple of step overs, and he tries that little left.
Yeah, he's done it his whole career.
Yeah, but now he's becoming quite predictable, right? And I think Pep wants someone who's more consistent. Yes, he scored 15 goals last season, and half it was against Joey's, but I just don't think he's going to start.
4-1 for me.
No, I said that. Watch him bang a hat trick.
4-1. Yeah.
For me, this has got big game hype, big game disappointment written all over it. Liverpool, they don't look great. Yes, fine. They gave Atalanta a bit of a hiding the other day, but on another day, Atalanta scored 3 for themselves. They're unlucky. I think that scoreline flattered Liverpool. He's gone. That's good. And Man City, they're still going to be one of the contenders, as we all know. I think if they're not top 2 by the end of the season, that'd be quite a shock. But you never know with the Premier League. If that's why it's one of the best leagues in the world, just for that simple reason. But I think this has got 2 teams who are probably a bit scared of each other, don't want to lose, but won't do enough to win either. So I'm going for a 1-1.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same, but I think both teams know, with the results having gone their way, Liverpool know. I think City know they have to avoid defeat here, because Liverpool are still unbeaten this season. Actually, no, that's stand corrected. Villa obviously destroyed them. But I still see this game being disappointing in terms of a draw. I'm going to go 2-2. I still think there'll be some goals in this game, but I do think neither side is going to do enough to win. All right, final game of the weekend: Arsenal-Villa. Go, start us off.
Arsenal, the fizz has come out of the champagne a little bit, hasn't it, over the last couple of weeks? We're bigging them up, potential title contenders. They lost to us, but then Aubameyang, I know something seems to be up with him. He doesn't seem to be firing like he was at the end of last season. And I think Villa, the last couple of games, they've conceded 7 goals? Yes, they scored 3 themselves, but I think the 4-3 flattered them, because I think Southampton switched off last 5 minutes. But again, there's another one of those where Villa will have a point to prove now, and I think Arsenal could be perfect for them, because Arsenal play that free-flowing, counter-attacking football at times, or possession-based football at times. I think that will work in favour of Villa. Look what they did to Liverpool when they did exactly the same thing. Don't think it's going to be a 7-2, but I'm going for a Villa 3-2 this weekend.
Is it?
All right. I wouldn't call Arsenal champagne. I'd call them like a cheap 12p grape soda they pick up at the
champagne
music.
in regards to the fizz, not to the
Yeah,
actual.
I'm calling it grape soda fizz. To be honest with you, 12p a can.
They're still one more titles than you have, mate.
That's what Arsenal are.
They're still
Listen,
one more.
we're fighting for the
titles than you.
title. I don't know what Arsenal are up to. Listen, they just got jammy against Man U. What can you say?
Weren't you fighting for the title? Hold on, weren't you fighting for the title a couple of seasons ago?
No, we weren't.
Yeah,
2-0 to Aston Villa, Jack Grealish, and I think Ross Barkley. 2-0.
I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal. I think the result, they'll do another result. Yeah, I mean, you could say that they played against a very poor United side and won. But the fact is, they got the result. They're still a handful. I think they'll have enough to do Villa over. And that concludes this weekend's fixtures. And before we call it a night, Hemel, Dream Team by, who would you say?
Fantasy football. Well, out of us three, I'm ahead of both of you in fantasy football, so you need to listen to my tips because they're pretty good. The player you want this week, Serge Reguilon.
Okay,
Brilliant.
Thanks for pointing out a left back. All right, Gogs, who do you think?
Don't say I didn't tell you.
I think this week, I know Grealish seems to be firing at the moment, so I'm going to stick with Grealish at the moment. I think he could expose Arsenal, so I think he might get a couple of decent points over the weekend.
I think for me, it's got to be one man. Unfortunately, Harry Kane, very against a very, very fragile West Ham.
Actually, yeah.
You don't want to go Harry Maguire? I thought you were going to say Harry Maguire. I heard Harry. I was like,
Fridge freezer, thank you. But no, Harry Kane. I think you can't look past him against, like I said, a very, very poor West Brom defence. You can see him getting a few goals in that game.
If I was West Brom, I would first 5 minutes.
turn up. I wouldn't turn up.
And
I wouldn't turn up.
No, little stud into his Achilles. That's what I would do.
Okay. Barring that, we don't here at the Football Talk Show condone violence. So obviously, let's have a nice, friendly game of football. Anyway, on that note, I'll leave it be. Thank you, Hemsy. Thank you, Gogs, for joining us on this Zoom call, one of many now.
Yes,
Gogs,
this will be the way forward.
Gogs, we've got to try and find a way of doing these dares, mate, because the rate we're going, like I said, you're going to end up having to give your whole body a wax.
It's fine. I'm manscaping's the way forward.
You're doing this, but you've still got this as well. So
I won't be touching that at all.
Well, you better get some predictions right this time round. Right.
Hey, I didn't lose last week, did I?
Oh, yeah, Hemsy, you lost it, didn't you?
Yeah.
On that note, I am out.
Do you even have any body hair?
I do. Don't worry about that.
On his ass.
Well, I guess that's where the wax strip's going to hit. Right, on that note, take care.
Arrivederci.
Over and out.
Catch you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.